StartupGrind, welcome. Please let's welcome Oviosu. All right, you're very welcome.
Hello.
All right. We'd like to start on tell us about yourself. Tell us a bit about your background and things like that.
Well, first of all, thank you very much, everyone, for staying. I know I'm between you and drinks, so we have to make sure we can keep it short. But I'm very excited to be here. Again, my name is Oviosu, and I'm the founder and CEO of Paga. So a little bit about myself, I guess. We'll talk about what I do, but about myself, born and raised here in Nigeria, and whenever people see me with my last name, like, oh, you're from Edo State, right, which is where my father is from, but I like to think of myself as a Lagosian, so I was here for about 16 years before I went to school in the States, and then I returned to Nigeria in 2008. Really out of a very strong desire to be part of seeing Nigeria become the giant of Africa again, right? Which I really believe we can be. And so that's really what brought me back to Nigeria. And I really felt like there are a lot of issues to be tackled, a lot of different things that we have to go address. So I came back and I joined a private equity firm called Capital. Left that after 6 months to do something entrepreneurial. Spent about 3 months looking at different ideas before I moved into what is now Paga.
All right. Before we get into what Paga is,
sure.
Tell us a bit about your schooling and where you studied electrical engineering, right? Okay. And I heard very interesting that you mocked floors while in school. Tell us a bit about that.
So my favorite saying in Yoruba is "Ento wo bata mo doesn't," right? Which means it's a person who's wearing the shoe that knows where it hurts, really. So I went to the US and I studied electrical engineering. I finished at the University of Southern California. But before I went to the University of Southern California, I went to junior college in Bakersfield. And so while I was at Bakersfield College, I worked about 5 jobs, right? And one of the jobs was mopping the floor at our canteen. So after classes were done and people were still hanging out in the canteen, I'll be the guy mopping the floors, and my friends were there. So if you talk about humbling experiences, that's probably one of the most humbling experiences that I've had.
I can imagine. But how has what you studied now, electrical engineering, your background, has it impacted on where you're going today?
Yeah, no, electrical engineering was a lot of fun. It was very challenging, and has really helped me today because I think it taught me a way to think in a very logical way, right? And to deconstruct problems. And so, right after undergrad, I worked for a startup using my degree. I did that for right after undergrad, I did that, and I was fired after 3 months. So it was actually probably one of also the most, in hindsight, it's one of the best things that ever happened to me. But at the time, it was the most depressing thing. Right?
Sorry, was it something you did or?
No, so it really was. I worked for an 8-person startup that was right after undergrad doing semiconductor chip design. So we're making chips for digital cameras. Right. The company is actually still around, so I think they're doing very well. I worked with one of the brightest minds I've ever had, but I was in over my head completely, right? 8-person startup, and the first chip I actually designed went to Taiwan. We made it. It came back and it didn't work. So after all of that effort. So anyway, so I tried a lot. So it wasn't about something I did. It was that I just was not up for the job, right? And I remember being very depressed after that. But many years later at business school, I remember calling the founder of that company and thanking him for firing me, because that was the best thing that I actually learned to do that.
So what did that experience teach you? What did you learn?
Yeah, what that experience taught me is, failure has to be an option in life, right? And I think this is really important for entrepreneurs. If you think failure is not an option, then you're already in the wrong thing, right? Now you have to do everything you can to not fail, right? But if you fail, you have to like find a way to pick yourself back up, right? And you have to find a way to pick yourself back up. And I was fortunate to have friends around me that helped me through that difficult time. And really know that your current situation is not what defines your future. So it's really then up to you about how you define that and how you sort of go about driving. So I think this really taught me to always get up and fight again. Right.
Interesting. Reading about you, you had about 12 years or 13 years experience before you started Paga. Okay, right. There's this. Okay, I read about unicorns lately, and I realized that the 20-something-year-old founders are actually the exception. Most successful startups are started by 30-somethings. I mean, do you think your 12-year experience or 13-year experience has an impact on what you're doing today, on your success today?
Without a doubt. You know, I think the reason why you don't hear about many Mark Zuckerbergs is just because there are not many Mark Zuckerbergs, right? It is incredibly difficult to start a business, to scale it anywhere in the world, and I think it's even more difficult here. So I think my advice to most people is go get a job, right out of undergrad. Go and be that smart person in that company that's doing the copies and that is learning from other people in meetings, and work your way up and just do a great job at what you do there, right? Life, people say life is short and all this stuff, but you have time. You have a lot of time, and I think as you learn how to run teams, as you learn how to manage people on somebody else's dime, eventually when you go and start your own business, those are experiences that you have. Now that doesn't mean it is impossible. That doesn't mean that if you have a great idea that you shouldn't go after it. So, but I think you just have to really judge how well you're ready, and what you know and what you don't, and look for people who can complement you if you decide to go after starting a business.
Interesting. So while you were working at those jobs, did you ever imagine you were going to start Paga?
Well, not Paga specifically, but I mean, I grew up seeing my mom run one business after the other and very entrepreneurial, and I grew up in a single parent family. So for me, I always knew I had a desire to start something at some point. I didn't know what it would be, or where it would be actually. And so I think at some point in my career in the US, I was very comfortable being in the US, and I was actually looking to start a business in the US before I decided to move back to Nigeria. So I didn't know what it would be that I would do. Yeah.
So what prompted the transition? How did you make that transition from engineer to corporate CEO?
I think I sort of fell into it, to be honest, because right after undergrad, I was for sure going into engineering. That's why I went to work for an engineering company. But after I got fired, then I had to start thinking, what do I do? I learned how to program while I was in college, so I started working for another startup doing SQL Server programming and some database work. And then I finally got a job in consulting. I'd actually never really heard of what consulting was. When I went to this interview, all the questions were all very logical questions I was able to answer. And then they asked me, do you want to move to San Francisco? And I'm like, hell yeah. San Francisco is a beautiful place. So I moved to San Francisco. And everyone I worked with in my first project, who I considered to be really smart, had all gone to business school. So that was the first time I heard about business school. And I said, what is this business school thing? And over time, they started explaining to me, I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe I should think about going to business school as well, because I know I want to start something. And so that's sort of how I got into that.
So you're saying you always knew you were going to start something. So how did you then, did you stumble on the idea for Paga, or how did you transition into Paga in this case?
Okay, so after I moved back to Nigeria, my intention was to work at a private equity firm for about 5 years before I started the business, and to eventually, which is still my intention, to eventually go back into early stage venture capital here in Nigeria. So I sort of had a long-term vision about how I was going to make my career. I got back, and 6 months later, I was very convinced about Nigeria. I was very convinced that it was time to start something, and I didn't know what it was. So I spent about 3 months looking at different ideas, and I had three of my friends meet with me every other week and really help push my thinking on these ideas. In some cases, their ideas as well. But I really spent, those 3 months, I got up every day like I was going to work, same time, I went to the gym, same routine I had before, and I went into an office and I was very diligent about it. And was doing first-person research. I wrote about 20 ideas down, and I just started going through each one of them. And one day I had an epiphany about what is now Paga. And actually that was number 10 on my list.
What was number 1?
So I can't share number 1 because I do want to do it one day. Number 1, I'm not sure number 1. Number 10 was mobile payments. And number 11 was banking beyond banked. And in the margin, I had a line from 11 to 10 saying, do these two go together? And do they go with number 3? I won't share number 3 either, but we're about to actually launch number 3 next year, right, as part of Paga. But, so, this thing I wrote down sitting in a hotel, this list I wrote, I think wrote it down. This list I wrote, sitting at the airport in Abuja, eventually, things that we're now actually doing. Very quickly, what advice would you give to an entrepreneur, for instance, who is going through a period of what's next, what do I do, and trying to figure out how to move forward? What would you advise? Yeah, and then it was good to see what happened here today. We're seeing stars, we need more of these kinds of programs. Tommy and the team with the Big Wings Control Network. We know the challenge in Nigeria is not about ideas. There's a lot of ideas. People have great ideas out here. I think we have the challenge of funding for businesses. We have the challenge of talent and recruiting a team. So my advice, and I think our real big problem is we don't have enough jobs out there, right? But my advice would have been, we can figure out going to go work for someone first of all, and building your skills and building your experience. Being an entrepreneur, in a company, would actually really help you down the line as well. So, but I think everybody sort of should judge their own situation, right? If you have a specific idea that you're very passionate about, right? Then you should go for it. But without that, I think it's really tough to go out there.
What exactly is Paga?
Paga is a payments company, and we're really focused on trying to make an efficient payment system accessible to all Nigerians. So there are 2 ways you can use Paga. You can go into one of our agents, who are like pharmacies, grocery stores, and you can go to the agent and give them cash in exchange for doing whatever transaction you want to do. You can pay your electricity bill, you can pay your DSTV or GoTV. You can send money to someone using their phone number. The recipient doesn't have to be a Paga customer. They go to another agent, or very soon they'll go to an ATM without a card and collect the money. You can also send money to any bank account in Nigeria. Now you can do all these different things by yourself as well by going to mypaga.com and registering an account, or by downloading Paga for Android and registering an account. And you can do all these transactions by yourself. So think payments, think Paga, right? Payments company.
So Paga is much more than a mobile money platform.
Correct.
Okay, well, looking at the mobile money industry in Nigeria, what would you say are the challenges? Right. I mean, looking at M-Pesa in Kenya, for instance, we hear a whole lot of great news about them, and rapid adoption and things like that. What do you think are the issues in Nigeria? Why are we missing?
Yeah. One of my favorite quotes this week was from Steve Case, who was just here in Lagos as part of this event. He said, AOL, America Online, became an overnight success 10 years after it started. So I make that point because I hear a lot about M-Pesa, and they're in their 8th year of being operational. If you actually go back to the first 3 years, which is where we're in our first 3 years, we're actually growing faster than they grew in their first 3 years, in an easier market to run this business. So we actually, in my mind, we're doing very well, right? And the numbers show that. So I think, and that's just Paga, right? And so let's forget the fact that there are 23 licenses, right? So let's just say who's doing something. So the way I think of it is that there's a progression to growing this business and to growing adoption, and we're on our way there. We currently have 3 million users on our platform. We ended November last year, we hit 2 million, just to give you a sense of how quickly it's growing. And we have about 800,000 active users. So the actual progress we're seeing is in the numbers, and we're seeing a lot of people doing transactions.
From your perspective now, what are the potentials for mobile money in Nigeria?
Yeah, huge potential. As I was sitting here right now, just earlier before we got started, I was on my phone, and how many of you guys know SoloView? Yeah, someone in the back. So SoloView is a movie platform. You can watch movies on your phone. And on my phone, on my Android phone, I clicked on the movie I wanted to buy, and that app is already linked to my Paga account. And I just pressed buy, and that was it. And my movie is downloading right now, and then when we finish from there, I can watch my movie, right? So there's a lot of potential, right? And it's not just about those transactions I talked about, it's about enabling an army of entrepreneurs who actually need payments for whatever their platform is. You can integrate our Paga Connect gateway and do one-click payments, which is what Solo has done. Or you can integrate our payments gateway and collect payments from Visa, MasterCard, Verve, or Paga, right? So what we're doing by solving payments is to help commerce in general, not just e-commerce, but commerce in general.
So you think the platform you've created, for instance, would be in terms of there's a whole lot of emphasis right now about cashless banking, cashless policy in Nigeria. You think Paga, for instance, is the background platform that will make that?
Absolutely. We think with what we've created, whether you're a banked user or you're unbanked, we're giving you solutions that make it easy for you to access your cash anywhere, anytime, and to make payments wherever you are.
So 3 million subscribers, 800,000, right? Active users, and about 8,000 agents, is it?
Yeah, we now have about 8,500 agents in about 35 states.
Okay, so what has the journey been like? It's 6 years now, right? What was it like?
Sure.
For the past 6 years?
So it's been 6 years for me. For the company out to the public trading, it's been 3 years, or we're in our 3rd year. It's been a fantastic journey, right? We're very fortunate. We have a really strong team of people. We have about 210 people on our team who are very committed to what we're doing. It's been tough. It's very tough to raise money. I feel like I'm always raising money. In the early days, to get going is very tough as well. We're very fortunate to have friends and family that they're able to support us in the early days of the business. But also we're in a regulated business. So aside from thinking about the regular things of your business, I also have to be thinking about the regulator and making sure that we're engaged with the regulator, making sure that we are complying with regulation. And there's a huge cost to that as well.
Okay, well, talking about raising money, it seems you've had it easy. You're talking about challenges now, but it seems, from what I've learned, since you've had it easy, compared to a whole lot.
No.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, it's one of these kinds of stories that you can't tell why you're in it, right? Everything. So maybe one day, one day knock on wood after we have an exit, I can tell the story fully. But no, it's not been easy at all. And so if it comes across like it's easy, it's not. It is very tough. The first time, I'll tell you one story. So the first time I went to raise money, my uncle who lived in South Africa at the time said to me, I know a Nigerian here who I think would be very interested in this idea. So let's go talk to him. And so with the little money I had, I got on a plane and I went to South Africa. And this gentleman had us in a nice French restaurant, had a private room, before the end of dinner, he was standing up screaming, just Paga it, just Paga it. I was like, yeah, this guy's got it, right? I was so excited. And then 2 days later, I met with just him, and he basically suggested that I sell the idea. And I was so deflated. I mean, this was the first investor I was talking to. He was suggesting I sell the idea to a couple businessmen you guys would know. And when I got back to my uncle's house, he said, and I told him the story, and you could see I was really down. He said something to me that I had never thought about, even though I've been in Silicon Valley for 9 years. He said, when you hear the story of Google and Yahoo and all these guys that started in a garage, do you think they wanted to start in a garage? I had never thought about that question. And I was like, no, who the hell would want to start in a garage? And he was like, exactly. So you're going to do what you're going to have to do, right? And you're going to have to just take the steps you need to take to make it happen. And I think this is the core thing that I look for in entrepreneurs is how dogged are you, right? Because there are going to be a lot of lows, and it's a very lonely place. Because if you take today now at work, I mean, I tell my colleagues here, if you take today at work, if something's going on, right, I can't project what's going on. Like, so people don't know everything that I'm processing, right? Because I have to say, because people are also looking at me, right? Looking at how is Tyra reacting, so I can't project everything that's going on. And so there are very few places of people you can actually share truly everything that's going on. So it's not been easy at all. It looks that way. But I will say, as I said this morning to Steve Case and the group that were here, that the companies that we're meeting with and that we hear about, Paga, Honda, Ace, we are the exception. And that's why, and I'm cognizant of that. And so that's why for me, what I want to actually pour my life into post-Paga is actually early stage venture capital and helping entrepreneurs go from the idea to seed to angel, to venture capital, right? And building that ecosystem. And I think it's going to take a while for us to do it.
Okay, well, we're going to get to that in a minute, but I'm just going to ask, you had Jim O'Neill invest in you guys last year. I mean, for me, that's major. How has that impacted what you do?
Yeah, Jim, so I don't know if you know Jim O'Neill, but Jim O'Neill is the one, have you heard the term BRICS, the BRIC countries? So Jim O'Neill is the one who came up with that term. He was the former chief economist at Goldman Sachs, and currently, I think, Deputy Minister of Finance in the United Kingdom. But basically, he came out to Nigeria because he has now coined another term called the mint countries: Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Turkey. And he said these are the next 4 countries that would have real impact on the world in terms of emerging economies. And so he came to do a documentary in Nigeria, and that's how I met him. So we're very fortunate to have Jim invest in our business. He's been very helpful, just sort of like helping us open doors and also helping me think through different things at different points. Although I got an email from him last month saying we can't talk about the business anymore while he's a minister. So, but still he's been very helpful.
That's very good to know. Well, right now, Paga, 210 employees, you said, you guys are going to keep growing. How do you maintain a culture? And I think that's something a lot of entrepreneurs can relate to, because the more you grow, it means that things start to change, probably some people start to forget the vision. How do you ensure that everyone is on the same page on that?
It's very tough. It's very tough. But you have to be very thoughtful and very purposeful about trying to maintain a certain culture. And it really starts from the top, right? So I think a lot of people take the cues at Paga from me in terms of how do I relate with people? Do I really have an open door policy? Are people calling me by name? Like, how do we sort of treat each other in meetings? How do I show up, to things? But beyond that, I think it's important that the team be very clear with each other, especially the founding team, be very clear on the type of place you want to work. And as you hire people who want to work in that same kind of place and who will promote that same culture, on. And you hold each other accountable, right? And I give people examples of work of when, I remember once I reacted to something over email, and one of my colleagues, she called me and told me, Tyler, that's not our culture. And I was like, wow, I'm like, actually, you're right. This is not a culture. And I apologized and then apologized to the team. And that's just, and I gave that example a lot for a period, so that people realize that I am also to be held accountable, right? And if we agree sort of how we're going to work. Because I said to people, we spend most of our time at work. So if you're not enjoying what you're doing, or it's not a culture that you like, you need to either do something about it or leave, right? Because you're wasting your time.
But do you have some of these things documented, or what's the steps?
So we do have things documented. We have what we call the Orange Book, right? The Paga Orange Book, that everyone who starts at Paga gets a copy of it. That documents the traits we're looking for from each other, the values that we want to uphold as a business, our mission, and a few words from me. And the Orange Book is something that we all have. But beyond that, we also do things internally that sort of match our culture. So for example, in July, we just launched a marketing campaign to the public. And I hope, how many of you guys have seen the Paga marketing campaign or heard the radio? No? Okay, some people, all right, good. Hopefully you see more very soon. But 2 months before that, we actually launched an internal campaign that was really about preparing our team to get them excited about what we're doing. So there's a lot that we have to be intentional about, and we just do like crazy fun things. So one Friday it was workout Fridays. Come here, workout here in the office, and show and put up pictures in the group showing you working out your colleagues. Another Friday was share food with your colleagues. Another one was come dressed in traditional attire. And we did competitions and stuff like that. So we just do a lot of things internally for ourselves, and it's just fun, right? So we did that.
That's really nice. But there seems to be there is a whole lot of attention on Africa right now. I know you were at the Global Entrepreneurship Summit with Obama. But what were your takeaways? What was it like for you?
Yeah. So I recently was at the Global Entrepreneurship Summit last weekend that the United States State Department has been putting on. I think President Obama started this 5 years ago, and we're fortunate to have him also join this year. So for me, it was a really good opportunity to meet entrepreneurs from all over the continent, but also entrepreneurs from other parts of the world and see what people are doing. There is a lot of interest in Africa and in Nigeria specifically, and I think we are at the early stages of seeing people starting to invest in early stage businesses here, or foreign capital coming in. So I think my biggest takeaway was that there's opportunity for us to work with others across borders. So a lot of my conversations were with people in other markets wanting to do work with us here and to open up trade across Africa. There's very little trade going on, but I think in the next few years we'll start seeing a lot more cross-border trade.
So you agree with Obama who said Africa is on the move, right?
Definitely.
Interesting. Very quick question. Now, what are the challenges from your perspective that you think African entrepreneurs face in starting businesses?
Yeah, so like I said before, starting a business, and I've been involved with startups in the US, is difficult anywhere, but I think it's extremely difficult here. And some of it are the dynamics of raising capital, some of it is skills, right? Finding talent is very tough. And I think that just has to go because of our education system as well, that I don't think has done us justice over the last few years. And so there's a lot of work to be done around that. I think also you have a challenge of regulation, right? I mean, there was something in the papers in Punch yesterday talking about, I think it's a consumer protection agency that wants to regulate e-commerce. I mean, like, what is this? So. I think when you start seeing things like that, you're like, well, what's going on here, right? I think government can be of real help, but it can also be an hindrance, right? And so I think it's actually on us to really make sure that we organize and actually have a conversation with the right people to make sure that the regulatory frameworks do not hinder people starting businesses. The cost of doing business here is extremely high. Right? As all of you know, my office is on generator most of the day. So that's very expensive. And so that just makes it even tougher for a business to really get going.
Okay, so zooming into Nigeria, do you think some things are peculiar to Nigeria apart from Africa? I mean, some things are general, but let's look at Nigeria specifically because a lot of us are from Nigeria.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think, I think the things I said are very specific to Nigeria. Other markets, education is a bit better in some other places, like Kenya and some other places. In Ghana, education is better. So I think it may be easier to find talent. But Nigeria has its own peculiarities of just the challenges of doing business, corruption, private sector corruption, right? So there are a lot of different things that, and work ethic. The work ethic is so different here. Unfortunately, it is out of sight, out of mind. And so it's a very different work ethic, and that takes some getting used to actually.
Right. So, quick question: in starting a startup, right? What's the most important from your point of view? Is it the team? Is it the product? Is it the market? I mean, what do you think is the most important?
Well, that's a tough one. So, look, if you sort of take from the perspective that there's no point for your business to exist if you don't have a product that is solving a problem that the market wants, right? So don't create a product looking for a solution. Solving a problem. If you take it from the perspective that has to be given, right? And you'll know, because the way you know whether you have product market fit is are people buying this thing, right? If people are not buying it, then there's something wrong. And so I would say the most important thing is the team. I would back a team regardless of the idea. If I know that this team is a rock solid team of people, almost regardless of the idea, I should say. They know they're really rock solid and they have a good head on their shoulders. Because if it's not this one idea, it's going to be another idea, right? So I think the team is very important. So when you're starting, I think you have to be very purposeful about who you bring on and what skills they're looking for. And interestingly, aside from the skills, I actually think the most important thing to think about, especially in the early days, is this someone I would enjoy having a beer with, right? And it is someone I would really enjoy at company, because you're going to spend a lot of time together. And if you don't respect the person or enjoy spending time with them, it's not going to work.
So, where do you think founders in Nigeria get this wrong, for instance? I mean, a lot of people have good ideas, right? But a whole lot of these ideas don't fly. Or they stick around for 1 or 2 years and they fizzle out. I mean, where do you think founders get it wrong?
I think currently, and I'll speak to tech-related companies that I see, and I see a lot. I think a lot of people are coming up with ideas looking for a market versus trying to solve a business problem, right? And so lately I'm starting to see a better mix of ideas, but a lot of the techies I've run into in the past, I think, are trying to do something that's cool, but no one's asking for that, right? And so that's the problem. And I think if we can take it, take from a human-centered approach and say, what is this problem? Really go into the market, really try and understand it. Now, if you remember my story, I said I had 20 ideas and I worked down from 1 to 10. But actually 1 is the one I was most passionate about. Maybe even more passionate than I am about Paga. But the reason I didn't do 1 is the market's not asking for 1, right? And now I think one day the market will ask for 1, which is why I think one day I'll do it. But I think that's so important. Like if the market's not asking for this thing and you can't really prove that quickly for yourself, then stop.
So if I'm right, it's get an idea that is ready for the market and the market's asking for. Basically, look for a problem that people are looking for solutions to. All right. So from an investor's perspective, I know you've invested in a couple of startups. What do you look out for in possible startups to invest in?
So as an angel investor, and I'm an angel investor in 3 companies, all in very different sectors, and so one's in mobile gaming. It's a company called ChopUp. It's made some really interesting games of late. I'm also an investor in an agri-business called Real Fruit, and also in a luxury African luxury business called Iswara. So all very different. But I think what I look for is I'm looking for entrepreneurs who are really dogged and who are going to stick with it. But I'm also looking for specific industries that I think are interesting. I'm particularly hot in agriculture these days because Nigeria, Africa can feed the world. Not just even Nigeria, Africa alone can feed the world, the entire world. Just think about that for a second. We have enough arable land on this continent to feed the world, but we do not process anything. It's just ridiculous. This fruit juice you just gave me here, none of it is coming from Nigeria. The concentrate was brought from somewhere else. Yet, Nigeria is the largest producer of fruit in Africa, for most fruits. So to me, it's just ridiculous that we have all these things and we're not doing anything with it. So I think they're just different problems to solve in different ways. But food security, I think, is a big one. So I sort of think of themes first of all, and then I look for entrepreneurs who are doing things in those areas, and who I think they are the kind of people who would actually go after the business. Yeah.
So in seeking for funding, what do you think founders in Nigeria, what do they get wrong, or what do they do wrong?
They ask for money.
Okay, so
which is the wrong thing. There's there's a song that's started by gosh, I can't remember the guy's name now. It's killing me. It's like ask for money, get advice. Ask for advice, get money twice. Right? Don't ask for money. Right? And when I get off the stage, don't come and pitch for your business either. Right? Because I just don't have the time or mind share right now when I get off the stage. So introduce yourself. Maybe say, would love to be in touch for something. Reach out later, right? Because you don't want to be pushy about it, right? But I really think you should genuinely seek people who can advise you in your business, right? And who take an interest in you. Because at the early stages, the people who would invest in you are people who know you, right? Because no matter how good the idea is, it's about you, the entrepreneur. And so, it's about getting advice from people and seeing if there's an interest, and then they will be the ones saying they want to invest.
So guys, ask for money, you get advice. Ask for advice, you get money twice, right? Okay, well, looking at the investment landscape in Nigeria, right? I mean, what do you think can be done to attract? First of all, do you think we need to attract more foreign investors, or do you think more local investors need to come up?
Look, we just need to get money. Right. Some people are very much like, oh, we need Nigerian money, the wealthy people in Nigeria. And I say, yes, that is true. But Nigeria is sort of where America was when, J. Rockefeller was around. Probably one of the wealthiest men in the history of the world. But he did not invest in other entrepreneurs. He built his own businesses, and he put money in charity, right? That's sort of where we are today. Dangote, God bless him, he's doing very well, he'll continue to build and amass. And he's actually even a bit different because he's actually now setting up a fund to invest in other people. So that's good, I'm glad to see that. But most wealthy Nigerians are not doing this. Most wealthy Nigerians are still investing in themselves. So that's fine. I think we're now seeing, once they start seeing foreigners coming in and investing in early stage businesses, that will change. But we also have things like the Lagos Angel Network. Tommy Davis was just here, who's preaching the message to HNIs here, saying there is opportunity here, right? And knock on wood, the startups that we know of, that we hear of, that are doing well, we see exits, and people see that there's actually a way to make money in market. And I think that will start driving.
Very quick question. How do you make the tough decisions? Because I think this is something a lot of people can relate to. How do you make the tough decisions when it comes to, I'm sure you have to make tough decisions. How do you deal with those kinds of situations?
Yeah, look, I think you have to have a very clear view of how you make decisions in your company. I'm generally not one that believes in command and control. I definitely like to have people who are working with me take ownership and drive. I hate micromanaging. But sometimes you have to make some very tough decisions and make a call, right? And so, actually, this week I have an example of one I did. I can't say exactly what it was, but basically, we've been debating making a decision about a particular product that we were piloting, and it wasn't working. And we've learned from it, etc. And I was like, guys, just kill this stuff, right? Let's just stop. Because with the amount of time and energy we're spending talking through it, it's actually not productive. So we actually did that. But I think it was a bit shocking to people when I said, you know what, stop the conversation. Like, we're just going to stop this thing. And I probably should have done that months ago, right? I probably should have done that months ago. So it's very tough sometimes because you've invested so much in something to then stop it. But you can't. I can't sit waiting on that. So we've invested in something, but we have to.
So you want to make tough decisions, you should just make it.
Well, you should definitely do the analysis and be sure of what you're trying to decide, and seek advice from other people within your company as well. I don't believe it shouldn't be a your way or the highway type of thing, and this is not my approach. So definitely make sure that everyone's sort of on board with something. But sometimes the buck stops with you, so you just have to make the final call.
So where do you see Paga in the next 5 years?
So in the next 5 years, I want Paga to be, the ubiquitous way to pay or get paid for anything here, right? I want all of you to be on Paga. That when somebody tells you, I want to buy something, just Paga it, right? You walk into a supermarket and you say, can I Paga it here? That's where I want Paga to be. I want it to be the ubiquitous way for all of us to pay for things, and to save our credit cards on there, to link it to our bank accounts. For those who don't have bank accounts, it provides them access to finance, it provides them a way to save their money in a safe way, and so that's what we're doing.
For the founders in here, what 3 books, for instance, would you recommend for founders to read?
Wow. I'm not a big fan of business books, actually, or one idea books, I like to call them. But I would say probably the favorite book I've read in the last 2 years is a book called The Power of Habit: Why We Do the Things We Do in Life and Business. It's a book by a guy named Charles Duhigg. And I'm a big fan of that idea because I think a lot of businesses in Nigeria, my business for sure, is trying to change habits. Because people are used to doing things in a certain way, and we're trying to change that habit. So I highly recommend that book. Along the same line of habits, I recommend a book called The Habit Loop. And this is really a practical guide to how to change habits. And then the final book I would recommend, because I hate having email in my inbox that's unread, or having a lot of mail in my inbox, is a short book that one of my business school classmates wrote called Inbox Zero. How do you get your inbox to zero, on a regular basis? I highly recommend it. It's probably one of the best ways to think about organizing yourself as well.
Fantastic. Okay, we're going to take 1 or 2 questions from the audience. I'm sure a lot of people have questions to ask. We're just going to let 2 people from the audience ask a question right now. I'm sure we can still interact with him after the session. It's going to be about networking, but just very briefly, I think there's a hand somewhere at the back, and then the other guy at the other end. So, okay, we'll take the lady as the 3rd person, and that will be it for tonight. Please introduce yourself, man.
Hi, I'm Oviosu Anyako. I'd like to ask a question about your educational background. Like, how important is it in entrepreneurship?
How important is the educational background for entrepreneurship?
Having a good educational background, like a college degree or something like that.
Oh, okay. Should we take all questions first, or should I answer the question?
Let's take all questions.
I can answer it first.
Right.
Okay, cool. Ovina, thank you very much for the question. I think the educational background is very important. Similar to the question about when to start a business, I can't say that it is a must that you have to be educated, right? But I think for most of us, it is probably better. You have a better chance by going to go get an education first. It also helps you build your, it's not about what you study, to be honest. I mean, I think it's about how you think through things and how it helps you think through problems and build your social network, right? And so I highly recommend, not only a bachelor's degree, but after a bachelor's degree, work for a while, maybe go get a master's, right, as well. So I think it definitely really helps to just go through that process. Right?
So, the other guy.
Thank you. My name is Kennedy. I'm the founder of a startup called Student, which connects interns with employers. I have 3 questions. The first one is this. We're talking about how you are actually solving getting talent into the companies being a big issue. How do you currently solve that? What's the process you have for that? The second question is, you're thinking about what's more important, is it market, the product, or the team? Then you said the team. What do you mean by your work for the team? And how can you localize it to context in terms of nationwide? The last question is, as a founder, how do you manage the psychology, the business, the family, and everything else? Thank you.
So this is a typical problem we have in Nigeria, right? Ask one question, ask 3 questions. So we need to change that, by the way, right? We need to ask one question. So I'm going to take the last question already. So you said, if I heard the last question, you said it was, how do I balance family, business, and what was the third?
Yes, I think life in general.
Life in general. So like, I've gone through different periods of managing that. I mean, the first, I've been on this entrepreneur journey now for 6 years. The first 5 years I wasn't married, and the first 4 years, let's just say the first 5 years I wasn't married. So, there was a lot of time that most of my friends just didn't see me at all. And I was just very buried in the business, and I was working, 7 days a week. And that's not healthy at all. So now I think I have a much better balance. As much as possible, I try not to turn my computer on once I get home. And as much as possible, I try not to work on the weekends. Now, I'm going to violate that tomorrow as an example, right? I have 3 meetings tomorrow, but I think it's about trying to really also find outlets and do things that you enjoy doing. So I like to run, so I go running, part of a running group, and just go out with friends, etc. Right? So you just have to find a way to also mentally shut down. And actually, interestingly, the companies I've invested in also help me with this, because when I'm spending time talking about their business, I'm not thinking about mine. So, because otherwise, most times I'm thinking about my business. Yeah.
My name is Isabella Anito, and my name is Ivy Isabella Anito, and I manage Isabella Ivy Ventures. We are Paga agents. So when I try to encourage my fellow startups, I tell them, why don't you register as a Paga agent? They tell me, what's in for me? What are the benefits of being a Paga agent? So please, can you tell me, can you educate me more so that I can tell them, I can encourage them to be Paga agents? Thank you.
I didn't plan to, by the way. But this is awesome. Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for being a Paga agent. What really drives us and motivates us about the agency business is we really want to create opportunity for entrepreneurs all over Nigeria, right? And this is what really gets me excited about what we're doing, is that we're not only creating opportunity for people who become agents, for people who are developing apps, etc. We're creating opportunity for them. So as a Paga agent, our agents are typically people who have a store or business where there's some foot traffic, where you can service your community with all the various services that we have on Paga: money transfer, deposit to bank, bill payments, selling airtime, and you make a commission on everything. So, our really good agents are making a really good amount of money on a monthly basis from running these services in the local community. So that is definitely an entrepreneurial opportunity, and we're very grateful for the 8,500 agents who have, people like yourself, who have taken this business on. I think we need to have about 80,000 agents in Nigeria by 2020 if Nigeria is going to meet its financial inclusion goals. So there's a lot of opportunity for this. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We're going to round off this session by doing something very interesting. I'm going to say one word, and you tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
All right.
All right. So Africa.
Wonderful.
All right. Brand.
Paga.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Tayo.